Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to electronically monitor petroleum distribution as subsidy may continue to 2023. South Africa, Namibia, Nigeria top global unemployment rates. Key players are optimistic that the Petroleum Industry Act will also align activities in the oil and gas sector. And oil prices fall first day in 4 days as virus concerns return. Details of this and more on Business Express, and we are reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Energy security is very strategic in any country, aside ensuring stability on pricing of petroleum products. Despite the huge disparities on returns, the federal government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, is committed to end importation with coming on board of the PIA and the Dangote refinery. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the group managing director of NNPC reeled out statistics, strategies and measures on government investment in the industry during the hearing on the medium-term expenditure framework.
The local consumption of petrol for Nigeria is between 48 to 52 million litres per day. The actual market price of petrol is 256 naira per litre, but the commodity is sold at a pump price of 162 naira per litre. That's a difference of 94 naira on each litre. The group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation added that though the Petroleum Industry Act enables full deregulation, this arrangement will remain for some time. The interaction touched several issues such as investments in Dangote refinery, among others.
This is a very informed policy decision that first will guarantee security of energy because we will have a seat, we will have rights to 20% of the production from this facility. By the time we are done with our refinery and Dangote's combined, no one will import petroleum products into this country. There will be no need for it anymore.
Thank you, GMD. You've made our day. You can take your leave.
The Federal Road Safety Court took its turn as the hearing and informed the committee about efforts to further improve on services.
I can say that we have about 99% proof of genuineness of license because people knows now with the awareness if you don't go for capture, your license is fake.
The managing director of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, in an analysis of its projections with the committee, painted a positive picture.
7.6 billion was remitted as contribution to the Consolidated Revenue Fund as of June this year.
The committee says it will amend some sections of the National Lottery Trust Fund Act to plug identified loopholes. Others that made appearance at the medium-term expenditure framework hearing include Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Nuclear Regulatory Agency, and Nigeria Sugar Development Council, among others. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali.
On the stock market, investors lost 5.66 billion naira on Wednesday as the all-share index dropped by 0.03%. Year-to-date return hits minus 2.04%. Equities market closed on a negative note. Basis points dropped to 39,449.82. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at minus 2.04%. Market breadth closed negative as Capital Hotel led 17 gainers as against 19 losers, topped by Academy at the end of today's session. An unimproved performance when compared with previous outlook. Well, On Business Express, we will be looking at the equities market in Nigeria as well as the global scene this morning. Our guest is Tajuddin Olayinka, an investment banker and stockbroker who joins us from Lagos. A very good morning to you, Mr. Tajuddin.
Good morning, my brother. How are you doing today?
Okay, the stock market in Nigeria has been resilient despite the COVID-19 fears. The market closed slightly positive Tuesday and fell again on Wednesday. To what factors do you attribute this performance?
Well, okay. If you look back to what has been happening since the beginning of the year, you will see clearly that when the yield in the fixed income space went up, equity prices were repriced across board. Investors decided to drop the price of equity, either for them to go into fixed income or to be able to enter equity at much lower prices. So this situation pushed down the prices of equity. Especially if you look at index was above 40,000 index points at that time, but now it's below 40,000. So index, in fact, the prices have actually gone down, and so prices are at their lowest level, as we speak. So whatever you see there is just that investors still feel strongly that prices are low and they can always enter the market at these lower prices. So that is the reason you see some kind of resilience. It's not that market is not reacting to what is happening globally. It's reacting, but the prices are too low, and there is no reason to to drop it further. And now that we are also having yield in the fixed income space, moderating downward at this time, it's also making investors to also come to that space and fill the gap. So that is what is happening. That is why you are seeing that resilience.
Okay, what impact would the just recently concluded demutualization make on this whole process?
Well, the mutualization actually set the markets on a private sector pedestal. In other words, it takes away from shares issued by guarantee to a level where individuals can participate. Anybody can be a shareholder there, and of course they can also make profits and distribute those profits. Hitherto they were not able to do that. So it's going to smoothen activities there, because it will make for for quicker decisions, especially decisions that affect the market, decisions that affect the structure of the market, and more people will be part of that decision making. So it's a good thing, because it's going to attract more investment from outside. It's going to we have traders or short-term investors trading the market. It's also going to help attract new listing in the market. So more companies will come for listing, and we then have a better market.
Okay, then, as we look forward to a better market, let's take a look at banks' earnings reports. They are expected in soon. Investors will be on the lookout for results of the big five banks. Do you see strong performances from them turning around the fortune of the market?
Okay, yes, it should, ideally, because even if you look at the results from non-bank listed companies, especially from the blue chip companies, we have seen good performances from some of these companies. We have seen good performances from MTN, Dangote Cement, WAPCO, Flour Mills. A couple of them have actually done well. But you know that the result we saw there showed that the companies are completely out of lockdown. The lockdown effect is no longer there. They are actually producing to their full capacity, or at least to the capacity that they can distribute. So those companies are doing. So for that, I expect to see something. I expect to see same performance coming from banking industry, especially those key banks that are likely to pay interim dividends. And the reason we have not seen their results now is just because some of them have actually audited their accounts, and they have passed that over to the CBN for approval. So until CBN approves these results, we won't see, what they have to offer the market. But clearly, I can confirm to you that the fact that most of them have submitted their results and they intend to pay interim dividend, so that they have actually done well, and you can't pay dividend, out of nothing. So they are obviously going to pay dividends from their current earnings, because CBN not allow them to pay dividends from reserve or from previous earnings. So the fact that they are going to pay dividend from their current earnings make it somehow positive. So we are expecting a positive result, and I think that should also help the market temporarily, because the market is still challenged with liquidity. So the issue of liquidity is there. Even though the good result will impact on the market, we will see some movement, maybe upward movement slightly, and then market will stabilize.
Okay, the Nigerian stock market marks 60 years of operation. How strong is the reason for celebration?
Well, any good thing deserves celebration. 60 years is a milestone. It's really, even a man of 60, you know the way we look. So it's good to also appreciate God that the market, the exchange has been there for that long. And, we'll say that there are things that we will expect the market to have, the level that market to have attained at this time. Since the market has not attained that level, the celebration will just be mild. But it's still a good development that the NGS is celebrating 60 years of existence. It's a good thing.
That is to say, much needs to be done to warrant more celebration. Well, yes, let's talk about global market. Last week, the market across the globe went down. The markets also staged a comeback and are still heading into September near record highs. Tell us the situation.
Yeah. Market generally, especially stock market, is driven by information. Once there is an information that is negative to the market, especially information around the economy or information about threat to global economy, market will normally react, and that is when you see prices being pushed down. But once those information are now corrected, and you see a prospect in those listed entities, of course, market will bounce back again. Especially when prices have come down, people or investors generally will see the prices as the floor and say, okay, once it has attained this level, it's good for me to enter. So clearly, what you see is, when prices are low, you see bargain hunters coming in to push price up again. Clearly, those of them who are doing cherry picking, who are picking, very valuable stocks that have good values. They begin to pick them, and once they start doing this, you see prices jump up again. So what is happening that the threat of coronavirus is not as strong as the threat of what we saw in 2020 when the global economy went on lockdown. It's not likely that we have a repeat of that at this time, and so market is confident that yes, no matter what happens, we will still see those businesses operating and turning up profit.
Okay, Mr. Olenka, having highlighted the challenges and prospects so far, how do you see the markets ending the week and perhaps the month of August?
Well, I still want to see a positive market. At this time, we have more speculators, dictating the pace. And the activities have actually put the market on a roller coaster. You see the market, it goes up, it comes down, but it maintains a bound. It doesn't go outside that bound. So I expect the market to remain at that level, at this time, and even up to the end of the month, we will see the market, just oscillating within a bound. So we are going to see more of it, though it's a bit of a stable market, but market will still be on the roller coaster.
Mr. Tajuddin Olenka, thank you so very much for giving us hope into the prospects of the market, as well as sharing insight with us this morning on markets, both locally and on the global scene.
Thank you, too.
On global stocks, markets striking cautious tone as U.S. Federal Reserve policy makers gather for a closely watched monetary policy summit. Bosede Abel has update on global stocks.
Most global stocks pulled back on Thursday following the global market mood as U.S. Federal Reserve policymakers gathered for a closely watched monetary policy summit. Although some stocks in Africa are yet to post figures this morning, others like South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia's overall index resumed on a negative note. European markets opened mostly negative. Germany's DAX was 0.8% low, London FTSE 0.63%, and France's CAC 40 was also 0.87% red. Chinese stocks led declines among major Asia-Pacific markets on Thursday as U.S. markets surged to record highs overnight. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index was 1.61% low at 25,282.41. Shanghai Composite was 1.09% low at 3,501.66, while the Nikkei topped 0.06% at 27,742.29. U.S. stock futures were lower in overnight trading on Wednesday, following the S&P 500's rally that saw the index cross the 4,500 level for the first time ever. Dow Jones dipped 30 points. S&P 500 futures lost 0.15% and Nasdaq 100 futures were down 0.24%. Boss said they able. Business Express.
In a report by Bloomberg, Nigeria has the third highest unemployment rate at 33.3%, while South Africa has the highest rate among a list of 82 countries. According to the report, South Africa's unemployment rate rose to 34.4% in the second quarter from 32.6%. Namibia has the second highest unemployment rate, rising at 33.4%. The report said. According to the Bloomberg report, the median of three economists' estimates in a survey was 33.2%. Jordan occupied the fourth nation at 25.0%, with Costa Rica appearing as the fifth nation with an unemployment rate of 18.1%. And moving to our Surviving COVID-19 series is a story of a pastry chef, Wakilat Aderinto, as put together by Olainka Ojo.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
With available white-collar jobs not enough to cater for the teeming population, not only in Nigeria, but globally, Wakilat chose the path of pastry business.
I created my own recipe myself. I added to what I learned from my mom.
The passion to help meet one of man's basic needs, which is food, made her venture into the business. As a pastry chef, her line of business was really thriving before the outbreak of COVID-19.
Before the COVID, the business was good. We market around with people. We go and meet people. We go to offices to take orders from people. Then people call us to take their order too.
While some people complain of low patronage in the face of the pandemic, Wakilat says her pastry business was not really affected.
During COVID, there was more order from people to deliver because people are not going out. People are in lockdown. They are not doing anything. So restaurants are closed. So they fall back to us and order some stuff, and we deliver to them.
Although her business is still on a low scale, she says one of her major challenges is that of access to Central Bank of Nigeria CBN fund and epileptic power supply.
I will be able to expand the business to a large company. I'm working from home right now. It's something I do from home, but with those millions, I can be able to invest in a larger way.
Any desire to expand and, if possible, train others?
I have an online training that I do for people. Very soon we'll be doing a physical training, but currently we are doing an online training.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
And now to oil, where oil fell on Thursday for the first session this week as renewed concerns about demand recovery amid rising COVID-19 infections cut short a three-day rally. Brent crude was down 0.0% at $71.88 a barrel, having risen 1.7% on Wednesday. U.S. oil was down 0.7% at $67.86 a barrel after gaining 1.2% in the previous session. The U.S. Energy Information Administration reported that American crude inventories fell last week for a third consecutive week. Still talking commodities, gold prices were flat on Thursday as investors turned cautious ahead of U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's speech this week. Let's take a look at the commodity prices. As Nigerians applaud the fact that the country's oil and gas industry now has a legal framework to hold state-owned oil company and other regulators accountable, key players are optimistic that the Petroleum Industry Act will also align activities in the oil and gas sector with global best practices. Lydia Sampson highlights some activities governing the Act's operations.
It became obvious that for the oil and gas industry and state-owned oil firm to operate effectively and efficiently, a new act to repeal the over 5-decade-old regulations that govern the sector is critically needed. Kepler says President Muhammadu Buhari has written his name in gold by assenting to and giving the industry a new lease that will continue to foster partnerships across the entire oil and gas value chain. Despite the benefits contained in the new law, there are also concerns, and experts are quick to emphasize that there are no perfect laws.
What is really beautiful there is that it's not just celebrating, it's what are the next step forward. It's really time for us to engage, get investment, push Nigeria, because Nigeria's story has really not been told.
The dedication of 30% frontier exploration funds to take care of exploration and development activities of oil discoveries is generating a heated debate. Some argue that global communities, including international oil companies, are looking for alternatives to fossil fuel, while others says fossil fuel remain critical and countries endowed with it must make haste to harness and maximize its value.
I think the general news is that it is a very good thing that's happened to our country. It's an exciting news for our industry, and certainly for us as the private sector, we are very excited. So well done to the federal government.
Section 57 of the Act provides for NNPC Limited to absorb the employees of NNPC and its subsidiaries on terms and conditions not less favorable than enjoyed before the transfer of the service, including entitlements and pension. The law provides for 2 regulatory agencies in the oil and gas sector: the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The Commission has the power to acquire, hold and dispose of property, responsible for technical and commercial regulation of upstream petroleum operations, as well as the grant of licenses. The authority, on the other hand, takes care of the aspects of the midstream and downstream sectors, including granting of individual licenses and permits. The law provides for host community development trusts to foster sustainable prosperity, enhancement of peace, cordial relationship between oil and gas companies and host communities for greater economic growth. The fund is expected to be incorporated within 12 months after commencement date of new or existing oil mining leases. The law also made provisions for fiscal framework based on core principles of clarity, dynamism and fiscal policies. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson.
Thank you, Lydia. And moving on, the most difficult aspect of business which starters are often not properly prepared for is usually starting point. This in most cases throws the young starter up, balance and sometimes out of the business. The question is, how can one overcome demands of startups? Kevin Samuel sought opinions of business experts in this report.
Despite the many challenges faced by most businesses in the Yo metropolis, it is worthy of note that most of them are gradually bouncing back, while many new ones are springing up as well. However, it is observed that while some start small and grow bigger, there are those who start big but grow smaller by the day, leaving many questions in the mind of starters who obviously desire to do well at their point of startup.
A lot of factors have hindered the existence or even the growth of SMEs in the states.
We need government to caution some tax agencies. They have really inflicted pains on industrialists.
The quest for answers and possible solution towards the ugly trend. Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Akwa Ibom State on small and medium enterprises provided experience-based insight to some of the reasons businesses fail.
You say you want to be a fashion designer. Somebody will give you a material for 1 month. You cannot finish sewing. When the person will please come tomorrow, how are you going to make money? So if we must change our economy, first for our family, for ourselves, before looking at contributing to the general purse of the states, we have to change our work and business attitude.
What then can a starter do to avoid business failures and join the big players?
Don't start any business that you don't have passion for. Because when you have passion for your business, you'll be committed to your business. And don't think that at the beginning of your business, you're going to have profit. You have to sit down to do your business well to build profit. And when you eventually get into this business and you make profit, please don't use your business core money for making hair, doing shoes, buying clothes. You can use your profit, but I advise you reinvest your profit into your business.
On that business tip, we'll wrap this edition of Business Express. Remember to keep in touch with us. Do send in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on NTA's channel. Business Express returns tomorrow, Friday at 3 p.m. Be safe out there.